And we are live. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mujer de Éxito Unbounded, Woman of Success Without Limits. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Hoy, mujeres hermosas, chulas, soy Marty Ángel, su anfitriona. I am Marty Angel, your host. And today, ahora, we are having a treat. You know, right before 4th of July, you go out and you buy the ice cream. Well, I'm giving you the ice cream first. Primero la nieve, ¿verdad? Y para ustedes niñas que les gusta, una piña para la niña. All right, so we are here with one of my most recent favorite people, and it is a pleasure, it is an honor, es un placer estar con the CEO of Trending Social, right? This is Trending Socials. It is a social media marketing agency based here in California, creating big viral moments for the small business owner. And the CEO of this is on our podcast today, and his name is Luis, who is the founder and lead consultant at Trending Socials. But let me tell you just a little bit about his bio. Over the span of his career, he has managed social media marketing campaigns for the city of San Francisco and supported dozens of brands, creators, and small business owners through consulting and marketing. Este chavo, Luis, is a DACA recipient and an immigrant from Guerrero, Mexico, but has grown up in San Diego. And here's what I love about him. His mamacita chula was a Tupperware salesman. She was a direct sales entrepreneur. She was a network marketer. And that, my friends, is one of the largest industries in all of the world. But he talks about during his trips in elementary school, he was so embarrassed when his mom was closing Tupperware sales with his teachers. But you know what? It put food on the table, and it was necessary for them to make a living. So he admired her hustle. And look at years later, he is mimicking her hustle. After graduating from San Diego State University with a business degree, Luis was inspired by his mother's pursuits. And in 2019, Trending Socials was founded. Welcome, everybody. Bienvenidos. Aquí tenemos a Luis. Thank you so much for being on this podcast.
Marty, Angel, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm glad. You know, that was a canned response. I told him you have to say that, right?
No, but I mean it. I mean it.
I'm just kidding. All right. So if we can't have any fun, then it's no fun, right?
Right.
All right. So I am excited for what you have to offer the Mujerpreneur. Now, let me talk a little bit about who I serve, because it's really important. You know, I serve the seasoned Mujerpreneur. I used to serve the younger group. You know, I had a big following, but what I'm noticing is that the seasoned Mujerpreneur, the woman, la mujer que, wants something, either a side gig, or she wants to make sure that when she retires, she's got something to look forward to every morning. And so I'm helping that mujer, if they've already got a business going, rock six figures, and those wannabe mujeres to be able to think about a side gig, whether, I'm a firm believer in multiple streams of income, whether it's digital marketing, affiliate marketing, network marketing, whatever it is, there's a way to make money. You just have to stay consistent. And so I'm so excited because you're going to give us some tips ahora. Pero I want you to tell us your version of what's happening to you regarding the DACA. You're on social media. I hear you a lot about that. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, as you brought it up, right? I am a DACA recipient. I have, all my life I grew up undocumented. And so that never really impacted me in life until college. After I graduated high school and I was entering college, I never even knew. It didn't really ever come up. And eventually I was able to qualify and apply for DACA, which I received it came out in 2012. I didn't apply until 2014 because I was a little suspicious about the program. I wanted to see how it was going to work out for people. When I finally got the confidence in 2014, that's when I applied. And here we are almost, 14 years later, or I can't do the math, 12 years later, and I'm still a DACA recipient. Nothing much has changed since I applied and got it to now. What has changed is that, I'm taking matters into my own hands. I have decided that I'm not going to sit around and wait for my work permit to go away, because that's what DACA is. If you're not familiar, it's Obama administration era permission for undocumented youth that were brought here as children to apply for a work permit, amongst other benefits, including getting a driver's license. I didn't get my driver's license till I was 24. Meanwhile, my peers are getting their permits at 15, 16. I didn't, you know, I worked under the table jobs for the longest time. I didn't get a real job until much later in life. I, the college route, I had to be a little bit smarter about it, or just creative about how I was going to finance my tuition, since I didn't qualify for any financial aid. So a lot of these are the commonalities that us DACA kids, as they call us, because that's what we were when we applied for this, when we came to this country. We're now grown adults with businesses. Some of us are doctors, lawyers, business owners. We
Teachers.
are teachers. We drive the economy. We contribute to society. And, unfortunately, it is still in limbo. DACA has never been a permanent solution. And it is still in limbo. It's actually most likely going to the Supreme Court in the next couple of years. And that's where the ultimate fate will be decided of DACA, whether it'll be allowed to be around or not. And so there needs to be some action. And you're right, I speak on this on my social media. That's kind of my outlet for educating people, getting people informed, both undocumented and documented folks. And a lot of times when I share my stories or share, tips or just the nuances of these situations, a lot of people reach out saying they had no idea, or thank you for sharing, or I'm in the same boat as you. I felt alone. I no longer, now that I found your account, thank you for sharing your story. So there's a lot of community that I'm able to build and rally around this experience that is not just unique to me. There's over 500,000 DACA recipients currently, and there's over 10 million undocumented folks living in the US currently. And it can happen to anyone. Like, I had no idea that I wasn't documented until going to college. So, it can be really anybody that you just never know. You never know who it's impacting.
And I hear you so clearly. Interestingly enough, my husband, his parents were coming from Mexico. His oldest sister was born in Mexico, in Michoacan, and my mother-in-law was pregnant. They got all the way to Tijuana and she couldn't hold the baby anymore. So my husband was born in Tijuana. After a month of staying there and recovering, then she brought him over, and he has lived here in San Diego for the rest of his life. And we did not know, or he did not know, he went to college. He got scholarships and things like that. And it was really interesting how because back in the day, they didn't ask for your social.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't really have to, to worry about that. And even when he got a job, he had a social. So I'm not sure, and he's not sure because his mom has passed, how he was able to get a social. Yeah. But it all came unraveling in 1982 when we decided to get married by the church here. And it was like, oh, we can't give you the, justice of the peace over here in San Diego. Oh, sorry, we can't give you your marriage license because you're not a U.S. citizen. And
Wow.
that was the first time ever. So instead of, waiting 6 months, we had to wait a whole year to get married because he needed to get his U.S. citizenship, which thank God, he qualified for. So he got his U.S. citizenship, and then he had to do his confirmation. So I hear all of that. And I have personally, I think if everybody were to ask, they know somebody close to them that's a DACA recipient. I know personally, I have a niece, and actually two nieces that are actually teachers that are DACA recipients, and an attorney nephew who's a DACA recipient, and an artist, and he travels back and forth to Mexico, and he's an an art genius, if you will, and he's a DACA recipient. So you
Yeah.
just never know.
You never
Let
know.
me, yeah, and you said you finally took the bull by the horns. You finally decided. So let me ask you, what were you like living in fear, almost like, I want to say, almost like not willing to put yourself out there because you were DACA? Did that ever?
Yeah, actually, it wasn't until DACA that I became a little bit more comfortable with opening up. Prior to that, I spoke of this to nobody, not even like trusted teachers or I was very hush about it. And that's kind of what, my family told me to do, to stay safe, because you just never know what could happen. And so it wasn't until DACA I actually joined a fellowship in San Francisco, because DACA was so new, and it was to give, work permits to young people enter the workforce. San Francisco developed a fellowship to train young people with DACA and prepare them for the workforce. So I applied for this fellowship. I got in, and it was one of the best decisions I made. It's one of the reasons why I got the confidence and resources to start my own business. And it's also one of the reasons why I became so outspoken. I really realized the US has a lot to lose to get rid of, all the DACA recipients in the country. There's bound to be some sort of permanent solution. Though we waited over a decade, there's still hope that something may happen. And it's almost certain they're not just gonna get rid of us. I hate saying that. It just
Yeah,
sounds so bad.
I
Get
know it
rid.
sounds so negative. So you took it all, you took the bull by the horns, and in 2019 you created this social media, marketing agency.
Yeah,
And so, but you have a business degree from
correct.
SFU, right? So you put it together, and what would you say to somebody who's contemplating, what is your tip for somebody who's contemplating doing something like starting their own business, starting a side gig? What was it that you had inside of you that you said, yeah, ahorita?
Yeah, there's always that fear of getting started and doing it and taking the leap. And I think for me, it was getting out of my own way, saying, you know what, Luisito, like it's now or never. Like there's never going to be a perfect time. And I think a lot of us wait for the perfect time. I'm going to have enough saved up. I'm going to have enough clients lined up. I'm going to have enough experience under my belt. I'm going to learn a little bit more. You can all one thing is that you're always learning as an entrepreneur. You're always learning. Every day is a new lesson to be learned. So you're never going to hit that point where you're going to learn everything and be ready to jump start. So get out of your own way. That would be my number one tip. And that's what I did precisely. And I made sure that I had a plan. You're not just going to go in, blind. You do want to have a plan. You want to know how it's going to be financed. How are you going to take care of yourself the first, couple of months as you're building your business off the ground? But lo and behold, like things start to fall into place and work out the way they're supposed to when you let them happen. When you just let things happen the way they should.
Yeah. So that's so critical. So you got a little vocecita at night,
That little voice.
and that vocecita was saying, Luisito, ahorita. Empieza tu negocio ahorita, right? And so you follow that advice. But so often we don't. We question ourselves more than we should.
Yeah.
And that can lead to procrastination and what I call the death of a salesperson. Right? Because you need to move forward. But let me ask you this. Now, I was looking at your resume as well, and you were CEO of this. Are you right now a solopreneur or a micro business owner?
So I am a solopreneur, but there are goals of expanding, right? So I have started my business in San Francisco. I'm expanding to San Diego, and I want to take over California. We're going to start with the West Coast, but while I do have a team of creatives that I hire as contractors, I'm technically the only employee of my organization at the moment.
So are they independent contractors?
Yeah, so everyone that I work with, photographers, videographers, graphic designers, social media managers are working as contractors, and that's kind of the model that I've taken for several reasons. But for now, that's really what's working for me and my team. And there are plans, though, to grow that and expand so that I'm not the only employee.
Who is your target audience? Who is that person that you're really looking at going after?
Yeah, I love that you asked that, because I teach this to clients all the time. You have to narrow down, you have to niche down. It's not enough to say everybody's my client, everybody's my customer, because when you speak to everyone, you are actually speaking to no one, right? And so that is my, it's the reason that I have multiple audiences. So I actually have like my online Luis Q official. And so that is a different audience segment than my trending socials. And that is a different audience segment than the campaign I run in San Francisco for the Shop Local, right? So there's different segmented audiences that I speak to all at once, but I speak to them differently. And I'm speaking to different people, different groups of people. As it relates to trending socials, right? My customer is the savvy business owner that knows the work that needs to get done, but wants to outsource it. They don't want to be in the business creating their social media. So it's me and my team's job to come in and fill that role for them, give them their time back. Time is money. They understand that, and they work with us to create these viral moments for their small business. And for trending socials, that is kind of the customer that I'm attracting. I haven't quite narrowed it down to like, is it male, is it female, is it, what age range it is, but those are the mentalities of the customer that I'm trying to attract, right? Trying to work with.
Well, I think if you allow me, I'm sorry to interrupt. If you allow me, as a business coach, what I tell people is there is a difference. Your trending social that we're talking about right now is it's a B2B, right? Business to business. And it doesn't matter who is behind that business, right? Whether it's a female, so your target audience is that business, right? So you would qualify that by, you just said, a business that knows what they need, probably has been in business for a while, and they know what they need, and the time is money, so that they know they need to hire outsource for that, because they value your time. They value your time and they value their time. So that's important. But when you're dealing with maybe say like a coach or, solopreneurs like myself, a coach or whatever, one of the things that you just hit upon that's so important is to niche down, even though, even though they're like, well, everybody needs my product. Well, everybody needs to do this. It's like, I think they're mostly afraid to niche down. But here's what I tell them, and then you can tell me what you think about this. I always say that you need to niche down and start somewhere. That doesn't mean that you're going to get stuck in that niche, because as you unfold your business and as you dissolve all the fears and as you move forward and unravel what's happening, your target audience can change. And that's okay too. I know mine has. Mine has gone from, 18 to 24 to now over the age of 54, right? And the solopreneur that, maybe one or two business owners, one or two employees or independent contractor people. So tell me, what do you think about that when somebody says, let's say it's a coach or a small content creator that's just creating and working with coaches or whatever, niche down? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, you said it, right? Get really good at one category, get really good at one industry, and then you have the power to branch out. And I use this example a lot. Is like, think of someone famous. What did they get famous for? And then most likely they didn't just stay there. They then did other things, but after they got the recognition, after they became well known, right? I use the example of Jennifer Lopez, right? She was a dancer, and that's how she started her career, doing shows. She got noticed. She was cast in Selena, and then her career blew up. She is an actress, a singer, a dancer, so much more than just a dancer, which is what she started. But get really good at one, niche down like Jennifer Lopez did, and niche down into what's that one category that people are going to know you for, and then explore and then branch out. It's the most frictionless route that you can take, and it seems counterintuitive because it feels like, well, no, I want
everybody to see.
I want everybody, right? Yeah. But again, if you speak to everyone, if you're selling to everyone, no one's going to get your message. If you can focus your efforts into one thing, get really good at that one thing, that whether it's that niche, right? Whether you're focusing on beauty shop, in my case, right? That's how I started. I focused on beauty salons and barbershops. And then I branched off to other services, doctor's offices. And then I branched out to restaurants and cafes. And so now I have a much broader client niche, but I really started with one and got really good at the ins and outs of that so that I could then branch off.
That sounds amazing. So that's so important for all of us. Now, let me ask you this. Okay, so las mujeres here are probably, looking at getting to the point where they're going to expand, but they're overwhelmed with what all this algorithm stuff and how do I get on social media and how do I do this? What would be the number one thing? Where would they start?
Yeah. The number one thing I think is to do what works for you. And what I mean by that is don't follow the trends. Don't listen to everything you see or hear or read. Do what feels right for you. Always keeping your client in mind, but don't stress out about trying to follow this trend or what this influencer said or what you read on this blog, unless it's coming from Marty Angel herself. But you know what I mean? There's so much overwhelm that if it's like we don't know where to start, but truly follow your intuition. And I think that is the best thing you can do and say, what, this feels right. I want to share this. I want to post about this. Start there, and then you can branch out into trying new things. But the overwhelm is going to be what holds you back because you're always going to look for like, what's the trend right now? because the trends are always changing. So you're never gonna, it's not practical, it's not sustainable or feasible to be on top of all the trends or all the changes or all the updates to the algorithm, which we hear every few weeks, there's a new update, right? So just do what feels right for you, for your audience right now, and stick with that.
That's so amazing. So important for you to be able to say that. I say that to everybody, but it's important coming from you that they hear that, que no se preocupen. Don't look, you should run your business like this with what I call side blinders on.
Yeah.
Because there is so much, hey, I made this much money in 20 days, or I made this much money in 20 days. And those remind me of the shiny objects that, they dangle. And I'm always trying to get people not to worry about that, not to worry, oh, I've been doing this for 9 months and no sales. That's more the norm in digital marketing than the other, right?
Yeah.
And so I think what you said was so important. Don't get caught up in what other people are doing. Let's focus on what Luisito's doing, what Marty's doing, and that's it. And that's it. And do it so that you feel accomplished, right? And then let me ask you another question, because this question, actually, I'm looking down at it, came from somebody who knew that you were going to be on. So this question says, I've been a solopreneur for 5+ years, and I'm still navigating the social media world. I can't seem to grow my following. What are 3 things that I need to do that I'm not doing right now? And that would be like, you're supposed to know what she's not doing, but just what are 3 things that the top 3 things that you would say to somebody to do?
Yeah. I think number 1 is, if you're not getting enough reach or you're not getting enough traction, is there's a miss with the messaging. So we got to revisit that, right? Really looking at who we're talking to, what's important to them, what are their pain points, what are their challenges, and what can you bring to the table that addresses those pain points and challenges, and how can you clearly communicate that? So there has to be a disconnect if you're not reaching the right people, if you're not getting that exposure. So reevaluate your message. Number 2, assuming you're on social media, right? I'm assuming maybe you're not utilizing the quick growth tools. And while your messaging is number 1, if your messaging is off, then nothing else will really help. That has to be number 1, the foundation. But then there's growth tools such as Reels. Reels have the most amount of reach than any other type of post. Stories, only your current audience sees. Static posts, only your newsfeed sees, which is just your followers. Carousels and Reels are the number 1 way of expanding beyond that. So if you're not using those 2 as growth tools, double check that to make sure that you are. And use them in the right way. And I've actually developed a checklist that you can actually follow to make sure that you're doing the right things that you should be doing. On top of getting your messaging correct, there's a few technical things that you should also follow to increase the virality and the shelf life of your content, of your reels. And then the third thing that I would recommend is, based on who your audience is, do some collaborations. Collaborations are the best way to cross-pollinate and cross-reference your audience with someone else's audience. If there's another person in your field, in your niche, or a complementary business or complementary service or product that you can collaborate with, or an influencer in your niche, those are the best ways to then do collab posts or do any type of collaboration where you're able to get on their platform so that their followers see yours and vice versa. It really helps both But that's one other sure way to really get your reach out there and increase your visibility.
Great. That's important. So you did 1, 2, and 3, and that's amazing. And you have a checklist, and you gave me that link, right, for the
I
checklist?
did. Yeah, it's a PDF you can download.
Perfect, perfect. Because for those of you listening, it'll be in the show notes. And for those of you watching us live, it'll be in the description below. I'm going to make sure to do that. So that'll be up later on today, and you can access that. I have another question. So the question is that, do you do let's say social media audits? Like if you're on Instagram, do you do like an audit to make sure that, you know, if somebody can hire you to do an audit? That would be my question. That's my question. I was wondering to make sure that the content that one's putting out there matches what it says in the bio, because that's where my disconnect tends to be. And am I really doing what I need to do? So
Yeah. So I do offer audits. I don't have a way for you to request one right now other than through my DMs, or folks that are in my email get the link every time in my footer. But you just reminded me, Marty, so I'm going to put that in my link in bio, where you can actually request a free social media audit, because that is very valuable, very important. And it would be just a free assessment.
I would put it on your stand store.
Yeah.
Put it on your stand store, and, you know, and make it a low cost item. And yeah, and I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that way you can do that. And obviously, whether it's you or, you know, one of your outsourcer buddies can also do that. I mean, that would be, you know, that would be amazing. So that's so important, because one of the things that's really important that you touched upon, and that's for people to know, is, you know, you need to know what your arena is. So yours is helping businesses navigate the world of social media, right?
Yeah.
And that's really important. And mine is more of a I deal with the seasoned mujerpreneur, and I help her navigate the platforms out there in order to be able to streamline her business and rock 6 figures, because there's so many people out there. I've talked to, you know, and I do membership coaching, right? So I believe in a small amount of community. I enjoy that. So no more than 50 to 100 people in my community within a 6-month span. I enjoy that because I can give them personal feedback, right? Personal feedback on their business, because everybody's got a different business. The other day I had a lady, and she's like, oh, I have 4 different email, you know, services. And I'm doing this because I don't know which one is the best for me. And I was like, okay, you need my services, dear.
Yeah.
But, you know, but there are so many people like that, you know, and it's like, oh, okay, I have all of these bookkeeping, you know, platforms, and I'm paying for all of them. And it's like, okay, yeah. Whew, yeah. So I had a one woman, it was so funny. And I just say it's funny, but it wasn't funny. But after going through and auditing what she was doing, you know, and where is she putting her money, and you know, and this and that, and you know, my teacher skills, because I used to teach algebra and higher, you know, consumer math and business math. So I audited where she's spending her money, and I was like, do you have any idea how much you're forking out every month? So she was like, yeah, only this much. And I go, No, and luckily she trusted me enough to give me her bank statement, right? So I audited her bank statement, her credit card statement, and I said, "No, honey, you're spending about 10,000 a month on different things you really don't need."
Oh my God.
So she didn't even realize that she was making money. She could have been making money
Yeah.
without all of those things. So yes, you do need to know who you serve and what you do best. I agree with you when you said that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But now there's something before we log off. There is something exciting that you created. We met on the YBLE, right? And you are going somewhere special, what, at the end of this month? Tell us about this.
Yeah, correct. We are going to Puerto Rico on July 31st through August 4th. So we met through Jasmine Star's Your Biggest Launch Ever course, and you and I were both preparing for a launch. My launch happened to be a trip, like a content creator retreat. And it was just serendipitous that we met. But again, there is no coincidences in life.
Right.
You are also in the same city that I am in. You have also hosted retreats yourself. So you were just the perfect match for my accountability partner. And just like so wild that you were the one person I emailed, because I didn't email anyone else. And you responded, and everything just fell into place so perfectly. But you've been so helpful in helping me launch, getting this off the ground, right? With your expertise and your experience hosting yoga retreats. I'm hosting a content creator retreat in Puerto Rico from July 31st through August 4th. All the info is on my website. There's still 3 spots open, but it's 16 creators in Puerto Rico. We're staying at a villa, and we're going to be creating, learning. There's workshops and seminars. There's trainings. Everything's included. It's all part of the immersive experience, and I cannot wait. I'm getting everything ready now. It's going to be such an amazing experience.
Oh, it's so exciting. I think I got to get back to doing retreats right now. I just thought about that when you did that, and I was like, oh, I remember the energy, the fun. It's just, and then you're going to be in Puerto Rico. I'm sure you're going to be taking them to the beach. Y quién sabe qué. Oh, it's like going to be so amazing. That I am so proud of you. I am so excited for you. It is amazing. I know you are going to have such a great time, and I know we're going to see it all over social media. Que bueno. And but let me ask you this: so, if somebody is listening to us and they want to contact you, how can they find you in order to send you a DM for that?
Yes, follow me on my business account at Trending Socials. And if you want to get a little more personal, a little bit more, get to know me as an individual a little bit more, I have my personal page at Luis Q Official.
Yes.
On Instagram and on TikTok. Both handles work for both accounts.
Amazing. And I just want to say that it has been so much fun. And I hope this isn't the next time. If you guys have questions, make sure to drop them. If you're watching us on the Coach Marty Angel YouTube channel, drop it in the comments below. I'll make sure that Luis gets it, and then he can answer back. And if you're listening to us on the podcast platform, wherever you listen to your favorite shows, drop it in the show notes. Find me at martyangel.com, right? Or Luis at trendingsocials.com. Either one of us will connect the questions that you might have. Absolutely. And if you're excited about having him back after the event, so he can kind of tell us, para que nos diga, para que nos confese todo lo que pasó. So that would be amazing as well. And yeah, that would be so much fun. And Luis, thank you so much. It's been an amazing, I hope you and I stay together. And I am actually right now concocting a podcast event here in San Diego. So, yeah, so it's going to be, I'm hoping that the Latina Women in Business gets behind it. And I would love to have you come and be a guest contributor. So I will keep you posted.
Please
And
do. I would love that.
I know, wouldn't it be fun? Okay. So, yeah, it's like, ooh.
That's
But I'm so
exciting.
excited for you. So excited. And thank you, Jasmine Star. I'm going to tag her and let her know that we actually met there,
We met
right? Because she
there.
lets you know that, met there. And I hope that you have the best retreat ever, mi
Thank
amor.
you. Thank you
Any
so much.
closing words? Any closing words?
I just want to, if you're thinking about, getting some support for your business, just, reach out, do your research, find the person that makes you comfortable. Marty Angel has been just amazing at delivering value and support to me. And if you're even considering any, future consulting or counseling, definitely consider her. She's just an angel. And I mean, yeah. And then, I know you have your coaching program, your group, your community. So there's just so many ways to be a part of your world. And I would just encourage folks to do that.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you. I did not pay him to do that. He did a shameless plug for me, but I did not convince him to do that. But notice that this is Marty Angel, host of Mujer de Éxito, Unbounded, signing off, and Luis Angel Quiroz, but Luis Angel. So Marty Angel and Luis Angel, two
That's
angels.
right. Two
Right. So if
angels.
you're
Two
listening to
angels.
this is from above. This is
That's
an
right.
angelic message.
That is right. Yeah, I couldn't edit my name, but yes, it is Luis Angel. I couldn't edit it after I put it in, but it's in the
But
show
we're
notes.
good. Thank you so much for being on. Gracias por estar aquí.
Thank
Gracias.
you.
I am so incredibly grateful to each and every one of you, my listeners. Gracias por estar aquí. And as always, have a beautiful day. Namaste.
Namaste.